Alright, so here we are with Nick, who's working hard even though it's dark out here. Nick came here after working, right?
Oh yeah. The old starter.
Coming over to try to bring Lil Blue II back to life by installing a starter. New starter that we just got the other day. So he has just finished changing out all the fuel injectors. And now one of the neighbors is getting ready to try to put in a brand new starter. Here. Thank you to Charles, who provided both the starter and the injectors. I think I'm going to go to the other side so you guys can see what he's doing.
Basically, I'm trying to take the plugs off right now. So the only problem I'm having with them is that there's a lot of debris from the dripped oil and the leaky valve cover gaskets, and it looks like it appears like it might have an oil pan gasket leak.
You know, this car's got like over 350,000 miles on it.
Well, that's to be expected then.
When you say the plug, you mean like, is there like a cover or?
The clip, I'm sorry, for the wiring harness that goes to, most of them have bolts that just have like a little eyelet with a wire.
These are...
This one actually has a slide connector.
Ah.
That slides, that's what I was taking off. So, and the same with that one. It's old and brittle, so it did have the red piece locking mechanism just as the injectors come off. That slides back to lock it in place. So just trying to find it, locate it.
Wow, I thought the starter was like on the side over there. So the starter on this vehicle is like actually in the center?
Normally your starter's gonna be right here at the transmission flywheel at the back where the transmission and the motor combine together. So, and that's this point. This is the starter here. So there's two bolts that hold it in place. And basically what I did was I did a visual just looking at it to begin with the new starter. Because there are different makes and models and trim packages with vehicles, which can be different motors, starters, positions, options, oil coolers, all kinds of stuff. So I just basically compared just to make sure that everything lined up, matched in that situation, which it does. So the plug in the same spot, you know. And before messing with the starter or alternator or anything with electrical connections, what I always do is I do unplug the battery. The starter is one thing where it does have a hot lead going to it and a negative, and if you touch both of those, they will throw sparks. So
at this point you disconnected the battery?
yes, the battery's disconnected. I did the positive side. Either side you can use. You'll have to look at your starter when you do use them. They're new ones because sometimes they'll come with bolts and other times they won't, so you might have to salvage this bolt. So just be cautious if you drop it or whatever that you've got it. where you place it. To the other side to look. Basically, this starter, these are the bolts that actually bolts into the starter. Normally it's the other way around, where the bolts slide through the starter and into the block of the engine. So it's not a big deal, it's just a little reversed. So I'm just going to kind of clean it away. I think that might be a 15 or 14.
Trying to look up under here.
Appears to be a 15. So where do you, did you buy this van new, or?
No. This van, I bought it off Craigslist.
Okay. How long have you had it?
Probably about a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Okay.
When I bought it, it had like, I think 310,000, 315,000 miles on it.
Mm-hmm.
It was replacing a van that had like 400 and I think 460,000 miles on it.
Sweet.
Yeah, that other van got rear-ended, totaled.
Sounds about like the Suburban sitting in your yard. It has 580,000 miles.
Wow.
So
now did you put all those miles on there?
I bought it when it was, well, actually my dad bought it when it was a year old. I think it had 20,000 miles on it.
So you did put most of the miles on
Yeah,
there.
highway miles, my dad did.
Wow.
He's a truck driver, so he had to go and drive and pick up trucks and leave it at the place from where we lived, and so it's four-wheel drive. Still runs like a champ. Haven't rebuilt the motor. The only thing I've done to it is I put valve seats in it because it started smoking at idle, which they just gotten old and dry rotted. But
Now what year is that?
that's a 1995
Wow.
5.7 liter Chevrolet. And then my Yukon, I'm a big Chevy fan. I work for Rossner Chevrolet too, so I guess it could be an ad for them, a shout out. But they, it's a 5.3 liter.
Oh no, you're
GMC
still working
stuff.
there?
Yes,
And what do you do over there?
I'm sales, so
Ah.
I sell vehicles. So
Surprised you don't do the mechanics.
I thought I was either going to be a mechanic or a cop, So.
And you decided to be a cop?
Yeah, I was a cop for about 8 years in
Is
South Carolina.
Now, is that how you know Walter?
Yes.
Yeah, he says he's known you for a long time.
Oh yeah. A really long time. So Walter's a good guy. Now we gotta find the other one. It looks fun.
They don't really make this stuff easy to get to.
Well, it's pretty easy to get to. If you look right here, you can see the nut that I have to take off. So straight down. It is actually right here. I don't know if you can see my finger on it. So. There's the deal. Make sure.
Maybe I can help with the light here.
Trying to see where. Make sure that's the right one.
This is Nick hard at work here.
Get to that with a wrench. Brought my light. It doesn't seem like that's the right place for it. Make sure it is. Can you hold that light right there by chance while I crawl underneath and just look? Just right there at that spot so I can kind of level where it's at.
Kind of tight quarters here. Is that the correct one?
Yep.
You want your thing back or no?
Yeah, I can. Either or things. get in there to get it. I have to get the ratchet on it. Get one right there. I'll try. Maybe. Maybe not.
So basically we have like one more bolt that's holding everything in. Is that what's going on?
That's it. One bolt.
That's proving to be a pain.
Oh yeah.
You don't seem very frustrated.
You won't get the job done if you get frustrated. The only time I start using profanity is when I start raking knuckles and drawing blood.
Oh. I guess like the ability to stay calm is like kind of important for being a cop.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's too many hotheads out there nowadays that can't afford to lose your cool. Everybody comes from different walks of life, and you may not understand what that person just went through. So, philosophy on that is treat people with respect and dignity. Try to help the situation as much as you can and de-escalate the situation. I'd say policing is 98% of the job is talking, communication. So if you can't communicate and function well, you don't need to be a police officer. Almost one. Telltale symptoms that you needed a starter was that the solenoid wasn't engaging the starter. You just hear a click, 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 and it wasn't throwing the plunger with the gear or the sprocket of the starters on.
Now what does the starter do exactly?
Basically, it turns the flywheel. So in that portion, it has an electronic solenoid, which is this portion. Then you have the actual motor. The only thing the solenoid does is it engages this sprocket to slide outwards, to where when the motor's turning, it's meshing up with the flywheel that actually turns the motor itself.
So this is like a little mini motor?
Yes, that's a motor right in here.
So it's a little mini motor that starts up the real motor.
Basically with heat, like you see the solenoid and stuff, to engage, it's got like a little drain port and stuff like that. Heat, rust, debris, rain can actually make this not engaging in the motor. So, and if it's not throwing the plunger, then obviously it's not engaging, and that's that click you hear. Click, 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 click. A lot of times how you can try to bypass that, people will tap on this to loosen up the debris in the starter to get it to engage and throw the plunger. So,
yeah, I noticed
they'll bump.
Is that what it's called? Because you would try to start it and then start again?
I'm turning the key, boom, 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 making it go click, 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 and then it engaged the starter. Just because it was enough movement internally to kind of free it up.
So basically you just turn off, turn on, turn off, turn on?
Yes.
And obviously you want to get this fixed as soon as you can then.
Correct. this stud had wires on it. So that was the first nut we took off. So now I'm just moving the wires out of the way. So it had 2 of them. So I can get down in there and actually pull the bolt and free the starter from the motor.
So the wires would go into here like a sensor or something? Or that's just what actually starts it when you turn the key?
Mm-hmm.
So this is like an electric motor.
Yes.
And then the car engine itself is gas?
Yep.
I see.
I'm not really using any specialty tools. This is just a little tool kit. I have a lot of specialty tools, but this little tool kit in particular I actually bought off a Let Go. I think for $35.
Wow.
The same tool kit you can buy at Walmart and stuff. I think it runs like 70 or 90. So,
What does it have in it? Just like sockets and
sockets, couple wrenches, some bit drivers, like for different bits and torque bits. And it's small enough and compact enough I can keep it in my vehicle. So, I can do the majority of the jobs that I need to do.
Yeah, I'm really impressed at how calm you are working through this. Most people I watch when they're working on cars, they start screaming.
Oh yeah. Just looking for the...
I guess you're used to that.
Oh yeah.
Like the one bolt, the one screw, the one piece.
It can be time consuming, and especially when stuff's dirty or old, brittle. Want to be very careful, like when you're dealing with this, like if you had it running, because this is the exhaust manifold right here, this would be super hot.
It's cooled down now?
Yeah, had enough time. That's cool. It's warm to touch right now, but it's not.
Budge. Trying to use that as a breaker bar. To break free that stud. That's not working too well. Debris. That could be the original starter. Budge.
Well, I'm trying to think. What I want to use on that. Make it simple tools. little bit of leverage.
It's happening?
Yep.
Awesome. So basically you just use that to extend it to give yourself more leverage?
Yeah. Take off my watch so I had it work. Don't need to get all nasty. Yeah. My fiance gave me that, so that wouldn't be good.
Ah! Where'd the lid go? Where the lid went? Oh, here's the lid. Wow, that thing was a pain.
This one was probably a lot tighter just because the heat transfer from it, from the exhaust manifold right there at it. So it constantly was getting hot, and then it would cool down and get hot and cool down and get hot. That's probably why it was seized like it was, which normally you just do like a little breaker bar. That's all I did. I just used a bigger socket and an extension and just put it over my ratchet handle, and it gave me the leverage I need, so I wasn't racking my knuckles on this sharp edge.
Now, is that safe leaving that like by those two terminals on the battery? I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not gonna touch it.
Yeah, I noticed you got it out with no expletives.
Oh yeah. Should be able to get the rest with my hand, hopefully. If I can get it in there. Yep.
Alright. What a pain.
That's what it is. It goes in the starter. The two wires that we took off just slide on there, and then that other nut goes on the bolt to tighten. So the old starter should slide out now. We can slide the new one in place.
Am I in your way here?
Get out of the way. Try to undo it.
Now what is that, a gasket?
It's just like a shim piece that goes on it.
Wow.
There's your old one. So a little debris. You notice it doesn't have a breathe port either from factory, which is probably something they changed on the new one to accommodate for them doing that. Right there versus right there, it doesn't. This one did come with a bolt too, so we lucked out there. Nope, that's all right.
Sorry. Hey, we're still recording here.
Yeah.
Try to go under here.
if you want to see what I was talking about, the flywheel, you can actually see the flywheel from this side.
All right, so we go on the other side here. Oops, sorry about that, guys. Camera's still rolling. All right.
Flywheel in general, you go up into here. That is the flywheel starter area that goes right in there. You'll see the teeth. That's connected to the motor and the transmission, and that's what turns when you engage the starter.
I see.
A lot of times when you pull your starter, you can kind of look if there's a spot where the starter is engaging but the vehicle's not turning over. You might look, there might be teeth broken on the flywheel, which is a more serious problem where they have to separate the transmission from the engine and replace the flywheel. So sometimes the teeth get broken on that. So
that flywheel does